Hot take, Micah Parsons could win MVP this year.
I disagree, but go ahead. Give me your reasoning.
So in the past, only 2 players in NFL history have ever won the MVP. It was Alan Page for the Minnesota Vikings back in 1971. He was kind of the head around that Purple People Eaters team. His statistics that year aren't anything surprisingly great, but, it was 1971. He beat out Roger Staubach for the title. And then 1986, Lawrence Taylor won the MVP. And that was his year where he had 20 and a half sacks, which was the record at the time. Lawrence Taylor, obviously one of the best to ever do it at the position. It's not surprising that name is the one of the defensive players to ever be MVP. Now, why do I think Micah Parsons can win MVP? Right now, his odds are plus 15,000. That's worse odds than guys like Tua Tagovailoa, Daniel Jones, JJ McCarthy, and Aaron Rodgers. So if you ask me which one of those guys, if I threw in Micah Parsons' name, could win MVP, I think I'd lean Micah Parsons. Now, here's the reasoning. Parsons has been a difference maker for that Packers defense this year. Through 2 games against the Lions and the Commanders, that defense has shut down arguably 2 of the best offenses last year. People thought the Lions offense was broken because of what the Packers did to them. They gave up 1 garbage time touchdown in week 1 in a 27-13 win. And then in week 2, the Lions score 52. I mean, this Lions offense isn't broken at all. Same with the Commanders. I mean, the Commanders offense week 1 didn't look amazing, but week 2 looked awful. Micah Parsons locked down Jaden Daniels. And you could see it in a lot of plays that Micah Parsons even wasn't involved in, how much better that defensive line looked because of him. You had guys like Lucas Van Ness make a real big issue all game for the Commanders because they were paying so much attention to Micah Parsons. They were double teaming him. There was one play where Micah Parsons was lined up against the rookie Josh Connerly, where he just bulldozes him, no problem, gets right to the quarterback. Parsons has 2 sacks on the year, which isn't eye-popping numbers, but he's only playing a percentage of the snaps. Week 1, he played in 45% of snaps. Week 2, he played in 68% of snaps. He's coming back from an injury. So as he gets more healthy, I really do wonder how much better this line can get if you have Micah Parsons playing 85, 90, 95% of snaps like he was last year. Right now, he's lining up as the 7th best edge rusher in the NFL with limited numbers because of his coming back from injury. He is top 2 pass rusher in the NFL right now. I think once he gets fully healthy, if the Packers defense is as good as advertised as it's been the first 2 weeks against 2 very good offenses, I think there's a really strong case that you can make for Micah Parsons' revenge season. The narrative is there. The MVP is such a narrative-driven award. And on top of that, who else is going to win MVP? Joe Burrow's down for 3 months. I think that's a huge blow to the MVP race. Lamar Jackson, is he going to have a better season than last year where he didn't win MVP? I don't think you can justify it otherwise. Josh Allen already won MVP. He'd have to have another really good season, which he could, and he might. But we saw yesterday that the Bills don't necessarily need Josh Allen to win. Patrick Mahomes, maybe. I don't know. Now, if the Packers are really good, could Jordan Love? Sure, but he's not the most eye-popping player. I mean, you could build that narrative. So if the Packers defense is really good, the Packers finish, let's say, 14-3, number 1 team in the NFC, which they very well could. I think it's because of what Micah Parsons brings to that defense and just makes it, immeasurably a better defense. So you've seen so much improvement from the Packers defense with Quay Walker and Keyshawn Nixon as well in the secondary. I just think this defense is really good. And if it's led by Micah Parsons, who's a difference maker to that defense, I can see the narrative being built for Micah Parsons to win MVP.
Look, I'm not taking anything away from Micah Parsons, but before I go any further, what makes him a top 2 pass rusher in the NFL this year? First of all, he's 1.5 sacks, which is tied for 19th. He has 1 solo tackle. He has 3 total tackles. His sacks add up to 9 yards, which he's actually 3rd in sacks on his team. Rashawn Gary has 2.5 sacks for 18 yards lost. He has 10 total tackles, which is more than Micah Parsons. So first of all, I think this Packers defense is stacked all around, and I don't think it went from like a bad defense to a great defense from just getting Micah Parsons. But to your earlier point, what makes him statistically a top 2 pass rusher in the NFL right now?
This is according to PFF rating. That's what
so it's probably like quarterback Hurries. He's obviously very, very good, and I kind of agree with the whole narrative thing. But I think it's a little too early to say he's in the MVP conversation, especially when he has so many other stars on his team. Look, no, I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm not saying he's not insanely good, but I don't know if there's enough there yet where I would take him over. Sure, Joe Burrow's out, but like, I think there's a better chance Jordan Love gets it than him. Do I think there's a better chance Micah Parsons wins MVP than someone like Drake Maye, who probably has way better odds? Absolutely, because I just don't think the Patriots will be good enough where Drake Maye could ever get something like that. But I think you got to look at guys like Lamar Jackson. Like, look, he can win. I know he's won already before, but like, he threw for 4 touchdowns yesterday. I think that is way more valuable than what Micah Parsons brings to the table. But I don't hate your take in terms of like it being a possibility. And like, if a defensive player is going to get it, they're probably going to have a big personality off the field as well. I think it's just all encapsulating. So I do think there's like a little bit of something to it, but I'm definitely not ready to enter that conversation yet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I were a betting man, I would take Lamar Jackson at a heartbeat. I think he is probably going to win MVP because he's just very good, and he should have won it last year. And I think he'll put up a better statistical season this year than he will last year, or at least on par. Maybe not better. Last year was one of the best quarterback seasons of all time. But there's voter fatigue in the NFL with the MVP voting. We've seen it. Again, Lamar Jackson probably deserved it last year, but it's hard to win back-to-back MVPs. If he doesn't have a better season, I don't know if they can justify giving it to him if the Packers defense plays the way that it has the first 2 weeks. I just think there's a narrative there that Micah Parsons comes into this defense, a defense that was good last year, but not great, and completely changes the shape and makeup of that defense. I think he's one of those guys, because he gets double teamed, he's going to make the whole line look better. So if he's being double teamed and he still puts up 16, 17 sacks, which he has in the past, or maybe he even cracks 20 this year, let's see how he gets healthy. I think he's going to play, way more snaps. He said he was frustrated this week at the amount of snap counts he was getting. So I think he'll get an expanded role in the coming weeks. Let's see what he can do with a full role, which is why I'm saying it's a hot take. We're early in the season, but I don't know. I like the smell of it. I like the smell of Micah Parsons' MVP case. Last year, I said Ashton Janty was going to win Heisman after week 2. This year, Micah Parsons is my sneaky award prediction after week 2.
All right, just to add on to this conversation and to entertain your hot take, I'm going to lay out a scenario that I think would kind of need to happen for Micah Parsons to win MVP. I think the Packers would basically need to be a 1 or 2 loss team, depending on how the other teams do. If there's another 2 loss team, I think they need to have 1 loss, maybe possibly an undefeated regular season. I also think for him to get it, I think it needs to get to the point where like maybe Jordan Love, and I don't wish this upon anyone, gets hurt and misses a few games, but that Packers defense still wills them over the line where they're a team that just does not lose games. I think like we need to be able to look at the Packers and definitively be like, they're the best team in the NFL, and it's absolutely because of Micah Parsons and that defense rather than Jordan Love and this very good offense. Like that offense, bro, that is a scary offense. They're so deep everywhere. Jordan Love throws with zero fear. I love the way he throws down the field. So I think voters would need to be so sure that the reason this team is not just good, but phenomenal is because of Micah Parsons, which, hey, there's a world where this happens. I'm not going to say there's a 0% chance.
I mean, Jordan Love has looked very good so far this year. He hasn't made a mistake yet. He hasn't lit it up, the box scores, 188 yards in week 1 with 2 touchdowns, a good game, 128 passer rating. Nothing wrong with that for sure. Week 2 had a bit of a better statistical game.
Yeah, but one thing you got to think about is when you're blowing teams out or when you're handling the game, you're going to start handing the ball off.
Josh Jacobs is very good too.
Oh, he's number 2 in rushing attempts, Josh Jacobs.
Week 2, 292 yards, definitely, a bigger game in week 2 than he did week 1.
Jordan Love is 22nd in passing attempts. So he's not needing to throw the ball. So of course he's not going to have that many yards. So
if he's not lighting it up statistically, I mean, are they going to give him the MVP just because the team is good?
No, but I don't think it's I think for a defensive player to win MVP, it needs to be the offense isn't that good. And the defense just absolutely carries them. So I don't think it's mutually exclusive that Micah Parsons not winning the MVP means it goes to Jordan Love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if Jordan Love gets hurt and they still somehow win 15 or 16 games and the defense is just by far the best defense in the NFL, that's what would need to happen. I think the Packers would be better off if Micah Parsons missed a game than if Jordan Love missed a game, which is
it's
partly why a
quarterback.
quarterback gets the award a lot of times.
Exactly.
That's not a crazy thing. Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, duh. I mean, if Lamar Jackson goes down, the Ravens are screwed. I mean, you look at, maybe Joe Burrow's the MVP because he's going down for 3 months, and you see how much worse the Bengals are now.
But like, there's this situation where like in Cleveland, who's supposed to be the worst team in the league wins wise this year, they would be better off with Joe Flacco going down than Myles Garrett going down. Obviously, that says more about who the quarterback is than, like, if Joe Flacco was the Packers quarterback, they'd be better off with Joe Flacco going down than. So it's all about how it goes. But I think the Packers' most valuable player is Jordan Love, despite Micah being the best star and better at his position compared to his peers.
What do you think? Who's your pick for MVP right now? Let us know in the comments below.
Better yet, who's your hot take pick for NFL MVP right now? Because that'll help with this conversation for sure.
There we go. Yeah, get a hot take. Let us know.